Hey guys, thanks for joining us. My name is Mark. I'm here with my wonderful team. I'm just gonna go this way, and so you guys have a proper visual of all of them. Susan, Nita, Barbara, Christine, thank you so much for joining us. Today happens to be one of those casual chats where we're just walking down memory lane, checking out a few pictures, videos, and preserving ultimately this video as a scrapbook, a visual scrapbook of some of our founding members. So let me quickly introduce you all to the team here. First up, we have Neta Villalobos-Bell. She is a Cuplet Fern past president and a chapter representative. So she had done that for many years as chapter representative. She is the winner of the Green Palmetto Award in Education for 2020. And she is the winner of the Regional Cox Conservation Grant Award back in 2018. Barbara Whittier is our current and longstanding VP of Events. She is the winner of the Green Palmetto Award in Service from last year in 2019. Susan Angermeier has been our Cuplet Fern treasurer for 10 plus years. So she's been our treasurer from the get-go. She is the winner of the Green Palmetto Award in Service for 2020. Christine Brown is our current Cuplet Fern membership representative. She happens to be a past secretary for Cuplet Fern, and she is the winner of the Green Palmetto Award in Service for 2019. So I just want to introduce you all to the team, and we can jump into some pictures, and then I'm going to hand it over to the four of them to kind of, just log all these memories onto a video so future generations can look at this and see how far our chapters come.
I remember that vividly being there for that first meeting. It was standing room only. And I was looking it up. We had 72 people there. And it was kind of exciting to start something new. We actually siphoned off some of Tar Flower chapter members from Orange County. But we have our own group now and are still thriving.
That's what we looked like 10 years ago.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Barbara, were you there then?
I'm sorry?
Oh, were you there then?
I came in about a year or two later.
Oh, okay.
Three of us are in the front row there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We were at the Environmental Center in Winter Springs. They were kind enough to let us use that space, and that really worked out well initially. But we kind of outgrew it, and plus there were some scheduling conflicts, which ended up, so we ended up going to another space later.
Yeah, which was Sanford Garden Club.
Right.
Yeah, and then Mark got us into the UF Extension. So we haven't moved around too much. That's good.
Yeah, I see Sherry King. I see Nida. Oh, there's Corinne Wirtz.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh, I think there's Sherry. Sherry's holding the
Proclamation.
There's Beth on the right, Beth Jackson.
That's Beth. Wow.
Yeah. And I think the one on the left is Water Conservation with Seminole County. Oh my gosh, she's still there. I can't remember.
He is in the back, and Mike Mango.
Where's Mike?
Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Rick over there. He's gone too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's Rick.
To
And
the
there's
land
Amelia.
of plants.
Yeah, bless their heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice team. Nice team.
Yes,
Love
definitely.
it. All right, shall we move on?
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, and here's your.
We did a lot of plant sales.
Yeah.
One of our very first sales, I think that's at Spring Hammock. That's where we started with our sales.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't they have Earth Days there or something?
Yes, yes. So we had Audubon, we had a whole variety of nature-oriented groups there.
Mhm.
Field trip going into the swamp area and so on. It was very well received by the community.
And I think it was Barbara you who supplied all our plants in the beginning.
Wow.
I mean, you brought them.
No, I had help from other members propagating. We had a very good but small propagation team in those days, and we still have some of the same members propagating and passing them on so I can step them up for the next sale.
Mhm.
I already have some at my door a couple of days ago.
Yeah, well, you were the lead on that, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
I know when I first started, I didn't know very much about native plants, and I still have a lot to learn. But Barbara was always the one that I directed people to. Is like if they asked the question I couldn't answer, I knew Barbara could help them. She could tell them all about where the plant can go and how to take care of it, how to plant it. So she was always a good source of information, and still is.
Uh-huh. And I can tell you, that lady, she can sell a plant to anybody. She is the best. She arranges the plants so you're drawn in, and then she organizes them into special groups. And then she says, well, if you've got this one, you need this one over here.
Oh, it was fun and crazy in those days. And look where we've come to today.
And this is the garden tour back in 2011. And
I
that's
think that's Richard
right
there.
Yeah.
I think that's showing our yard there.
Is that your yard?
Yeah, the back
The
area. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He likes to tell people how to do it.
That's awesome.
Well, the beauty of that location is like a little microcosm along the trail system.
Yeah.
And he has introduced and worked and gotten rid of a lot of exotics. It's just beautiful there. It's so nature.
Yeah, and this one is from Earth Day in 2012. This is at Lake Concord.
There was one year when we did about 3 Earth Days, I think, in different areas.
We were moving fast.
There's the tent, and we had tote bags back then. And it seems like you guys made your own information boards too.
I think this is Richard's bird information board. He always introduces birds if he can.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we always have a space next to Cuplet Fern for Richard's birds and his nest boxes that he
That's right.
Right.
See, the
That's
nice thing about what Richard did, he blended the plants and the birds, and we blended in the insects and the pollinators, and all of a sudden people would see, wow, we can have a very native, Florida-friendly backyard. Even though we have our own landscape, we can create a more dynamic and healthier backyard.
Right.
Yeah. And Nita is the one that teaches how to grow your own bird feeder, right?
Yeah.
This one is from Disney Wilderness Preserve back in 2013.
Yeah.
I think those are always fun. We had another eco-buggy trip to Longleaf Pine in DeLand, I think. Not as many people, but yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Different perspective.
Lots of different places.
And the echo buggy is good for people that maybe aren't, hiking. They're not up to hiking. So, if they can ride around, they'd be, it's a good thing for people that maybe aren't,
As mobile.
To take a long hike or have an unstable ground to walk on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How did you arrange for the buggy, if I may ask?
You just call them up and
Yeah.
money.
Okay.
We had to charge for that one.
It seems like you had a good turnout regardless.
Yes, yes. Well,
That is something to think about for next year when things settle down.
yeah.
We got to get down there. All we have to do is partnership with maybe a couple of other chapters.
Chapters. Yeah. Awesome. And here's Rory, and he's checking out the water depth meter at Disney Wilderness Preserve.
That's Reedy Creek, I think. Right on the bank.
Rory has always been a fan of field trips.
Yeah.
He even came out to the rare plant count with knee-deep muck.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Susan would remember it well.
Challenging, but fun.
Challenge, yeah, one that we'll never forget, and no matter how we look at it.
Oh, I saw pictures of that. I remember you guys were muddy.
We were, and this one is from Lake Jessup. Oh, Lake Jessup is known for their hibiscus. You have the swamp hibiscus, or maybe the
Scarlet.
hibiscus grandiflorus in your hand, right, Nita?
I don't know what I have in my hand.
Yeah, you have a hibiscus they just blanket the area this time of the year.
Surreptitiously or illegally? Broken off?
Maybe it donated itself to you.
Oh, okay. One thing I remember is initially for the chapter, we relied on Sherry King at that. Sherry Williams, who was Seminole County Natural Lands, and she would arrange. We did a lot of the natural lands programs, this is one of.
Mhm.
We relied on them for our first field trips.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love the fact that look how narrow this bridge is, but y'all are also brave,
Oh,
checking all the plants out left and right, and
But always watching where your foot comes down on.
that's right.
You know how many alligators there are in Lake Jessup, right?
Oh yes.
Lots of alligators.
Little pygmy rattlesnakes.
Oh, we're coming up on that picture.
Yeah, I think we saw about 4 or 5 rattlesnakes then.
yeah, this is the same one, isn't it, Mark? Because after the bridge, then you go up on the ridge there at Lake Jessup.
There's one of them.
Yeah, that's your rattlesnake.
Was it Jim?
Animal, very beautiful animal.
Jim Doobie, I think, was showing us,
Oh,
and he knew where to find them.
he did.
Yeah. Jim Doobie of Seminole Natural Lands.
Seminole Natural.
I think he took us to Black Bear Wilderness too.
Did he?
Oh, yes.
And there were also pygmy rattlesnakes there. And once you know where to look, you spot them. I mean,
Remember Toothache near the hand fern?
I think I missed that one.
I did too.
I was reminded a few times.
Oh, there's Sherry.
Yeah,
She's got a box turtle.
it looks
And
like
that's-
Barbara. She's a perennial photographer.
Yeah.
Box turtle.
Something like that.
There's some shoestring fern,
String fern.
and here you are in 2014 for the Environmental Studies Center.
I
I
think
guess-
that was the mud walk. Do you remember they used to do the mud walk for the kids?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think for some reason, we decided to sell some plants there. It's Jane.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it Jane Miller?
Miller.
Haven't seen Jane in a long
Gotcha.
time.
Yeah.
And this
There's
one is in
Rory.
2014 Seminole Centennial plant sale. So back then you guys had badges, I can see. Ooh la la. That one says Rory Trumbore, Master Gardener Volunteer. Oh, so he wore his Master Gardener badge.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think they were celebrating their centennial.
Ah,
Um,
that's
That's
awesome.
why, yeah.
And
It's a special-
was this in the parking lot at Seminole IFAS too, or at a different
Right.
place?
Yeah, the usual place.
The usual place.
We own that little parcel of the parking lot.
We're always there. And here's Lake Lotus. We do a lot of good work out at Lake Lotus too.
Altamont Springs.
In Altamont Springs, and Christine has been very, informative and keeping us abreast with the bird banding that happens out at Lake Lotus Park too. So, Christine, you want to talk a little bit about bird banding, just to let some of the viewers and people that check this video out,
Yeah.
hear what this is all about.
Well, in normal times, we're out there every Sunday morning, and we have 22 nets, mist nets, and our master bander is Andrew Boyle, and we check the nets and take out any birds that fly in. It's usually warblers and the little perching birds, and we put aluminium bands on them, and each band is individually numbered. So if that bird is ever caught again, we know where it went and where we banded it. And this is for the bird banding laboratory, which comes under the USGS service. So it's very interesting. If anybody wants to come out when we start banding again and we're able to get out there, it's every Sunday morning.
What
Either.
has your findings been? Are you guys trapping the same birds that you've banded, or every net or every capture seems to be a new one? What have you guys found? Where are these birds traveling? What's the cool news from the bird banding activity?
We do get a lot of recaptures of birds, particularly the resident birds, but it's very exciting when we get the migratory birds that come back every year. And we know that they come back to the same place every year because we've got the records going back several years. So that's the interesting part of it, the birds that come back to the same place. And this is what we tell people. If this park wasn't here or your yard wasn't there with all its native plants, those birds would have nothing to feed on, and they would be exhausted and starving by the time they headed either north or south, depending on which way they were going.
So it's almost like a generational thing. So the birds will teach their young, and the young will return back to the same spot, and you'll see the same.
Not sure that they teach each other, but it's kind of instinctual for most of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. And this one is in 2015, and it looks like we have our past president, Beth Jackson, there too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Frank Higgins. I think that's Lake Lotus, right?
Yeah, this is one of our field trips to Lake Lotus, and Frank, the ranger, led the tour. They have an excellent educational center there.
Mm-hmm. Who is Frank Higgins, if I may ask?
Altamont Springs Ranger. He's actually retired a few years ago now.
Gotcha.
But he's very knowledgeable.
Gotcha. And there's Jim Hooper in the back. I see him.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Beth.
That's Beth and her husband, George.
Yeah. All of these pictures were graciously provided by Christine Brown. Christine, thank you so much for taking the time to put this together. I appreciate it. And this one is in 2015. Is this
That's the same trip. Yeah, that's the environmental center, the education center. They're very high tech, lots of screens and computers and microscopes.
Oh, that's great.
That's Lake Lotus.
Yeah. Where is it? Is the public allowed?
It's mainly for when they have the school children go out. It's a science incubator facility.
Amazing. Is this open to the public, or is this
No,
just...
no, it's just we were able to get in there with Frank.
Oh, that's great. Ah, Crystal Lake Preserve. Barbara, you want to talk a little bit? Nita, you can talk about this too.
Yeah, Nita has more experience with this than I have.
Crystal Lake Preserve. I'm on the board of directors for that. And it was land that Daryl and Betty Leidy, who live on the other side of this Crystal Lake Preserve, didn't want to see it developed. It butts up to the back of Timaquan, a very, very large development, housing development. So they purchased the land. I don't remember the year. They purchased the land and made it a 501c3 in order to preserve the land in perpetuity, we hope. And it has several different habitats. The lake is behind it. So there's hammock and some sandhill, and then the lake habitat there.
I love that place.
Oh yeah, you've been there, Mark.
I have.
Uh-huh.
That's just a shot of the lake. And oh, you guys did a trip out there, a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Jim Denslow?
That is Jim Denslow, who is an amazing volunteer. I don't know what he's doing now, but he's a ex, I believe, science, maybe biology teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out there and works well, it's hard to get volunteers to help him, but he is tireless in volunteering, taking out his first project was taking out the invasive plants there. One of them being the coral ardesia. I remember working on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just loves that place and loves sharing his information about it.
So many gopher tortoises. I lost count after 30. The whole place is riddled with gopher tortoise burrows.
Oh,
The heron. And this one says it's in 2015 at Clay Island. So you guys are checking out some sort of beer monks.
Right. I think what I was trying to do was show the differences of the types of lichens that were there and the role of lichens in a very xeric type of habitat. It really surprised me to find this very small, dry upland habitat on that side of Lake Apopka. And it's a wonderful field trip.
There's Bernadette there.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
The thing I remember about this trip, there was a horrible smell coming up. If you get to the next slide, I think you'll find out why there was a terrible smell.
A beautiful.
Oh, not that one. Nobody there was smelly.
Oh, that's...
Oh, that one. What's that?
That was... oh,
there it is. Yeah. That's a stinkhorn fungus, and we could smell it before we could see it.
it looks like a person, the sunken parts of the eyes and then down below.
Like a really kind of bad looking Muppet.
It did leave the smell in the nostrils for quite a while. But it's designed to attract insects
Yeah, fly
and people.
mostly. There's a that looks like a celestial lily. Yeah,
This
it
is the
is.
fall flowering ixia. There's a little story to this as well. We went out specifically to Toothache in the afternoon because it was supposed to flower at 4 p.m. And you know what happens in Florida at 4 p.m. The clouds rolled in and it started to thunder, and we were all hanging around hoping this flower would open before we all got struck by lightning. And as you can see, it did.
Yeah, right on.
Pretty flower.
Beautiful. And this is a Rayleigh Sunflower.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. One of my favorites. Oh, you guys should talk about this. You all know what this is, right?
Yeah, this is sad.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
I used to take students from Lyman High School here, environmental students.
This is the senator, isn't it? This is the bald cypress that got burnt down in 2012. And we did a field trip in 2016. But our Sherry Williams did a very nice tribute to the senator after it burnt down, and it's in our Front Forum newsletter in 2012. And I think Jim Doobie did a very nice video story about its life. How old was it? Was it 3,000 years old?
It was
very old.
All I remember was that it was the 7th oldest tree in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they've still got the remains, but they've now got it fenced off. A bit too late, but anyway.
Yeah.
But they do have
A clone?
They have a
clone, that's the word, called Lady Liberty, which is not far away in Big Tree Park. And I think
that's the one that was already existing, but I know they have a clone now that they're growing out front. It's called Phoenix or something. Up front. Yeah.
And I believe it's a clone from this senator.
Yeah. Lady Liberty seems much smaller than the senator. The senator it felt like a tree on steroids. It was huge.
We might have a picture of Lady Liberty then, maybe the next one.
Oh, there's Lady Liberty.
Oh, there's the sign, yeah. See, she's 2,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's Lady Liberty.
There's Lady Liberty, yeah.
Yeah. So even this park is near development, and if it were not for these trees, the land probably would have been developed as well for residential. It's very close by to, I believe, Ronald Reagan Boulevard.
Yeah.
So it would have been easily developed had it not been for these trees. In 2016, this is your history center.
Oh, yes. We tried something new then, remember? We got seedlings and we made these little newspaper pots and handed them out. And then we also wanted to attract kids. So we got coloring sheets of native plants and handed out little coloring crayons to the kids as they went by. And that was the last time we ever did that.
This was one of our rare trips to downtown Orlando. We don't usually go out of Seminole County selling plants, but there was a special occasion. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Some anniversary.
Very adventurous of you. Good for you.
We probably got permission. I think it was probably Tarflower that was asked and they couldn't do it, so we ended up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's me putting the little pots, plants in, seedlings in the pots, ready to hand out.
Yeah, there they are.
Little free samples for everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, you must have been there for a while. Those seedlings take time.
Well,
This
there's
is
Barbara.
another.
See how she organizes everything?
Oh wow, yeah, I know this road, this stretch of the road. This is right off of Orange Avenue.
Yeah, it's right outside the history centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know they had something like this. Let's check out the plants, shall we? We're all about plants here. Let's see if we can get up and close to them. Okay, so we have a mulberry. We have some Fakahatchee grass. We have some blue curls, beautyberry. Oh, there's Barbara and her kuntis and her zamias.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 pots there of zamias. Holy cow! Wow. Did you guys sell a lot of plants that day?
We only sold a few because there wasn't quite as large a population of people that we thought would come. And a lot of them were looking more for informational type material versus purchasing of plants. And we were still very young in getting a reputation. So this just helped build that reputation up.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, you guys must have hauled all these plants, and it is a trek from Sanford or Altamont to get to downtown Orlando. So, wow, that must have been a big group effort.
Yeah, that's Barbara again.
Thank you, Barbara.
Team effort.
Team, yes, it's all about the team. Many hands make work lighter. Here we have, it looks like Richard and Nida. Is this at Altamont Earth Day at the demonstration garden, the butterfly garden?
No,
Yeah, back at Lake Lotus, yeah.
this was something they had us do differently. It was not a good idea. They wanted to put all these plants, which were sun-loving plants, and put it in the shade. But we had so much fun. The kids would come by and we'd say, "Do you want to put a plant in the ground?" And they loved it. And so we just dig something and they put the plant down, and I had them tease the roots and water them. It was a lot of fun. I think that was the first time we did the Earth Day there at Lake.
We're very slowly but surely developing a very strong relationship with the city of Altamont. And the lady over there, I forget her name right now, but she has been more than helpful, and she's very interested in building a strong partnership with Cuplet Fern. So I think we'll be seeing a whole lot more of Lake Lotus, Earth Day, and Lake Lotus for other events in the future.
Good.
Nita, there's your famous Florida Native Plants board.
My knees are dirty.
As usual.
Oh, look at my hands. Yeah,
Oh.
sticking in the dirt there.
Well, you're not a gardener unless you have, dirt under your fingernails.
That's right.
Oh, and there's Christine.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
says,
they put up a very nice sign afterwards where we had planted some of those plants.
native plants, please do not mow, spray, or mechanically remove weeds.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, one person's weed is another person's treasure. And this is the yard tour from 2016.
Yeah. We did that only a few years. It was a lot of work. The collaboration with Orange Audubon actually initiated it, and then pulled in Tarflower and Cuplet Fern,
Yeah.
organized it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, this was the yard.
This is Catherine Bowman's yard, I think.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's Aura over on the left.
Yeah.
Rory in the middle,
Yep. Yep.
and that's Catherine's husband. Yeah, there's Catherine on the far right, and her husband next
Right.
to her. I've forgotten his name. Ron.
Ron.
Yeah.
Blair. Yeah. They have an ecology company together.
They do. They do. This one is in Winter Park, and they've created a small habitat with all types of wetland plants. It's really cool. Here you see lizard's tail, which you rarely see except if you're in swamp. So they made a small little wetland pond, and you can see the flow, the water flow with the pipes here. That's pretty amazing to me that they would create something like that, because this is in Winter Park and it's pretty dry
Hmm.
out there unless you're right by the river or a lake. But this is really cool. It's pretty special. Yeah, like you guys say, I mean, I was approached to do another native plant tour. And it's just a lot of work and a lot of coordination. A lot of people need to prepare their yards. How do we get the public to know about it? And then you need a lot of volunteers on the day. You need at least 2 volunteers per house. So, people are shown where the yards are. There's no parking issues. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Oh, this is beautiful. This is part of the yard tour.
Yeah, this is Connie Dolan's yard in Winter Springs. She's one of our bird banding volunteers, and she's also a very keen native plant gardener. And I just thought this was just an amazing firebush.
Yeah.
Coral honeysuckle.
Coral honeysuckle.
Is a honeysuckle? Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah,
It's
good.
honeysuckle.
Holy cow! It's blooming like crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen one that full.
Kind of bloom.
Wow. Yeah, nice picture. And here's Deborah Green.
She was on the tour that year.
Yes. Her yard is pretty cool because it's right by the Wakaiva, and she had tons of wetland-loving trees and plants, and she's just in that sweet spot where she can get away with some upland-type plants, but most of the trees were wetland, and it's really, really nice the way she designed her yard. I was in that yard tour, so I had come around and checked the yard tour out, which was fun for me, and I had seen her yard, and it was quite nice.
She was on the first board too as our chapter rep.
Oh, was she?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
There's Gabby Milch. She came on the tour with us.
Gabby. Yeah, Gabby's a mainstay in our community. Yeah, she's now with the St. John's Riverkeeper.
Yeah.
So she's always been a supporter of the environment, and she's very attuned to her personal choices when it comes to her daily life and making it as environmentally friendly and sound as possible, which is what we can all strive to be. A great person. There's Richard in his way.
Yeah.
So
he has to get his bird talking.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's Rory.
Hey.
Yay. So Rory has a lot of lizard tails because he's right on the water.
Oh, no way. There they are. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Rory gets very excited when he starts talking about his yard. He's very proud of it.
Yeah,
Always
it's
a
nice.
work in progress.
Nice yard.
And this is out at Mead Gardens in 2017.
Mm. Yeah, Beth Jackson over there led the tour. There was the restoration. Pine, what was it? What was the restoration there?
Long,
Like weed?
they're doing longleaf pine out there.
Yeah, sandhill pine restoration.
A sandhill restoration, yes.
Yeah.
Sandhill community. Did y'all do field trips every month back in the day?
Yes.
It's wonderful. Here you have Florida green eyes,
Mm.
beautiful upland mint. And this is a beautiful garden bed of salvia and monarda.
This is still at Lake Mead, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Reed Gardens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should see this area nowadays. Actually, right around the corner, as you're heading towards the parking lot again, just around the building, it's just taken off. There's not a lot of mulch bare spots remaining. It's filled in very nicely.
Oh.
There you are. This is a 2017 Earth Day.
Yep.
It's another Earth Day.
It's
Lake
wonderful.
Fungus.
This is the 2017 Garden Expo. It must have been a chilly day that day.
You know,
There was 1 year the wind was blowing and it was freezing and we had to hold the tent down. I don't know if that was it, but it looks pretty cold.
Yeah. You got your seed packets back there. I see. That's awesome.
yeah, we borrowed that from Florida Wildflower Foundation a couple of years. It was very successful. I mean, they didn't make a lot of money, but people were interested in the seeds as well.
Seed packets. It's wonderful. There you guys are with your plants. That's definitely one thing we all have in common. Is Barbara Zamias, and then we have a small pygmy fringe tree with some bird boxes.
You babied those, didn't you, Barbara? I think you got them from Jane Miller, a whole bunch of them. And you bird them and put them in, grew them, didn't you?
She gave me something like 9 to 12 small plants several years back. And I stepped them up. And I still have 3 of them, which I need to step up.
Oh.
Which will go on sale.
You don't see them very often. They're pretty special.
They are. Lake Harney, one of the Seminole natural land properties. Oh, this is Sherry and Rory. They're at the observation tower. It's a very beautiful scene, a landscape looking out.
Well, the beauty of the observation tower, I think when you get a chance to go, it is very ADA accessible. Walking from the parking lot to the small rock entry to the actual slopage, you're going through the upper canopy of the oaks and the cypress tree, and then you come out to this plateau of wetland habitat. It's just a beautiful centerpiece for natural lands.
It really is. Really is. They did a really good job constructing the observation tower. You can tell just by walking around on it that it's durable. It was meant to last. And the scene, just looking out onto the floodplain and the lake is just gorgeous.
Well, since then, they've added interpretive information signage there. The types of different birds you will see through the canopy and then out into the plain, so to speak. Very well done.
Beautiful. Oh, there you are at Lake Harney. You're checking out a cinnamon fern with Susan and Rory.
Looks like a cinnamon fern in
Yeah.
reproductive mode.
Yep, it's cinnamon fern, all right. So, Susan, do you enjoy these field trips with Barbara?
Yeah, I do when I can go, and I nearly always learn something new, which is great for me because I figure if I learn one new thing, it's a success for me.
Yeah, slowly but steadily.
Yeah, I don't always remember, but it's in there somewhere.
So we have swamp hibiscus, always beautiful. Oh, I love this
Ooh,
particular view. It's from Lake Harney. This is, I guess, where it flows out into the St. Johns River.
Correct.
Beautiful. Oakland Nature Preserve. There's Stacy Matrazo.
yeah. Edible native plants. We munched our way through.
Yes, edibles.
Oh, you guys are at the bridge. I remember this place. It's beautiful. This is one of the few places in Orange County where you can see Tulip Tree, naturally growing, not planted there, but it's southernmost range and it's naturally found at Oakland.
Which plant was that, Mark?
Tulip Tree.
Tulip tree. Oh, okay.
There's the group.
Yeah.
And Seminole County Environmental Studies Center. So tell me a little bit more about this property. You guys have a history with it, don't you?
It started, give or take, about 1971, but the land acquisition was a little bit after that. And it was our very first initiative in trying to provide to the community parcels of land that could be developed for conservation, education, and preservation for the future. With that, the earliest time period, the educational center was nothing more than 1 or 2 portable classrooms, and they had that for the longest period of time until they made the one that we know of today, which is a cornerstone for the 5th graders and 3rd graders throughout Seminole County now. But it is the focal point of all of our natural lands. It's the central point of all of our natural lands.
And here you have Rick Ely. He's at
Fern class.
Did
Fern,
you learn a lot at that Fern class?
yeah. We went through all the keys and went out and looked at them in the field.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Pretty comprehensive.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ferns out there, y'all. A lot of different kinds. They should call that fern hammock and not spring hammock.
Well, including the Cuplet Fern.
All right. And there y'all are. So this is Rory, Tom, Barbara, and I don't know that gentleman, but walking down the trail at Spring Hammock.
Mm-hmm.
There's the team. I guess Barbara, you were the. Oh no, it's Chris. No, who is the cameraman? It may have been Barbara.
I was taking a picture.
Yeah, there. You all are accounted for there. It's Nida, Susan, Rory, Christine, Rick, Amelia, Tom. Barbara, this is your yard.
Oh dear.
That was a very interesting field trip. Very popular.
The idea was, and I always try to, even when we're selling plants for events, to encourage people to purchase certain kinds of plants, of course, but integrating them in their already well-developed landscape. And so often, many people are fearful of doing that. And they say, should I do all native? I said, no, no, no. Make a nice combination that'll work for you. And then all of a sudden you're buying into an idea and they want to get more plants.
It's definitely a pollinator yard. The pagoda plant and the salvia,
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
that's butterflies would just
My
go crazy.
favorite, of course, of all plants is coral honeysuckle.
Oh, me too. That's a beautiful, easy to care for plant.
Mhm.
Oh, there's all your plants that you grow for the chapter.
Yep. Or try to grow. Sometimes I don't always succeed.
Wow. So you just pot them up and then you
A
give them
couple Well, a couple of things happen. I always put the word out to members. If you have small native plants, bring them in. I'll pot them up, take care of them for about a year. The annuals are ready within a year. But when I get things like woody plants, I want to make sure they have good root systems to them before I actually put them out on the market, so to speak. But even in the semi-shade, they grow and hold their own very well.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And the fact that your yard is semi-shady helps them, give them a better start early on.
And I always tell people, sometimes you have to allow plants to acclimate. You know, you got your pots, put them in a little more sun before you actually put them in the full sun.
Yeah.
Even, you know, the rouge plant, most of them you can almost put straight into the sun.
Mm-hmm. Ah, this is.
There's a long story to this. When people see this in my backyard, the eyes go up. Right. Why do you have this plant here? It is, don't tell me the story. I've been told about that a million times. But this all started back in, I want to say, 71 to 73. We did not have in Central Florida any one location to put endangered species. So when we went on plant rescues, even in the early days for needle palms, many of them would have to go to people's backyards and they would hold them. And you know how that goes over increments of years. They leave, they get destroyed, etc.
Mhm.
When the UCF Arboretum came into the picture, we were able to move many of the needle palms that we were picking up, say in Sanford or Oviedo, and we picked them up or rescued them, excuse me, because the area was being developed for highways or home development. And it was very easy in those days to get permission. And we would get ROTC, students, family, friends, and rescue plants.
Yeah.
Well, this plant was rescued, like I said, back in the 70s. And I lived in Sweetwater Creek area in an area of North Oviedo. So it originally came from Black Hammock. It was being bulldozed over.
Oh no.
We had to have a place for it. It went in our backyard. And then when we moved from that particular location, it went into my backyard. I have permission from a particular biologist to put it back into nature, this species, this genetic clone, when I leave my home.
Very nice.
But it doesn't go to anybody else. I don't, in other words, I'm not propagating this thing.
No.
It's going to go back to nature.
Gotcha. Oh, this was, I remember this tour. I think it was as soon as I become president, and then next month, that was scheduled as the field trip, was to do a yard tour at your house.
Yes.
And it was well attended. And there's Tom in the background, always smiling as usual. Candace, and I believe that's Susan Grist, and Marion Krim, Jim Hooper.
Mhm.
It's wonderful. Yeah. By the way, Barbara, the intern from the previous semester, she absolutely loved your yard. She was mesmerized.
It's a work in progress constantly.
She was mesmerized. She said, "Have you ever seen Barbara's yard?" I said, "Only through pictures." She said, "It's amazing." I said, "Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it."
Anybody can do this to their yard. My idea is not to have St. Augustine grass. So I have Florida pasture when it's green or sand when it's not. And the plants thrive.
It's great. That's Peggy Anthony, Susan Grist, Susan, Candace Roby, Jim Hooper, Marion Krim, Tom Walchick, and Barbara. There you guys are at Earth Day again. So Earth Day became a bit of your repertoire then.
Or musketeers.
Yes. And you guys are, it looks like you're selling candy bars.
No. Oh, that's something Nita came up. Nita, I still have that bag.
I know.
No. If you ever want it, next time we have our event, we'll put this. I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
put it out.
We'll use it.
So are they candy bars?
No, they're crayons.
Oh, they're crayons.
See the picture, the coloring picture?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Those are sheets of the plant.
Oh, that's great. FYI, I found a great new coloring book for you all.
Oh,
Yeah, this one shows all types of upland ecosystem plants and animals, and it's totally free. So I'll be sending that your way very soon.
who's it by?
It's by a group called the Natural Inquirer. But the Natural Inquirer has partnered up with fire biologists, the ones that go out there and do prescribed fires.
Uh-huh.
They came out with this really cool, nifty, helpful, visually vibrant coloring book. It's got orchids, it's got pine cones, it's got a fireman, with his little fuel tank lighting a prescribed fire. It's nice. I think you'll enjoy it as well. It's quite good.
Does it come with crayons?
Oh no, that's where your crayon box comes in handy. So over time, it looks like you guys built up your inventory of your displays. So this one goes all the way back to 2011 when Richard first had it, and then he added another one on birds. I guess this is the bird boxes, pictures of what actually inhabited, and then bird boxes here, and then your plants. So it looks like over time you found your own stride and how the event is put together, and what works.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
At one time also we had native bee boxes that we sold, and they went pretty quickly, and then it sort of declined after that, but that was a collaboration. Susan Grist, one of our members, collected bamboo from a neighbor and then cleaned them for us so they didn't have little things all over them. Richard made the box, and then my husband cut up the bamboo and I stuffed them.
Wow.
Yeah.
A good group effort. Yeah, but sometimes they work, sometimes they kind of don't sell, right?
Yeah. Just like we sold Melaleuca mulch for a while. It was very popular in the beginning, and then it sort of declined after that. But it seems like all the products that we've had are purchased primarily by our members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, and Adopt the Park. Cuplet Fern chapter, Florida Native Plant Society. So what's the story behind this? Who wants to talk about it? It's a great sign.
This is a native plant garden that was established probably almost 15 years ago with a number of different groups working on it at the Ed Yarborough Nature Center in Geneva Wilderness. And initially it was set up with irrigation. And when I came into the picture, I asked Jim Doobie, the biologist there, if it worked. And he said, not really. And we looked at the system. I said, okay, let's see what we can do in cleaning the place up. The pond, the native pond was green and slimy. And so we removed some of the water, added some plants to improve it. And he was astounded how the native plants were actually taking up a lot of the nutrients, and the algae was gone. It is now, there's no irrigation, and it's a very well-maintained natural water course there. But it's in an upland habitat. So curiously enough, I said, well, and we were looking at the plants that they had. They planted things from red buds to fringe tree to Hercules club and a variety of Ilex vomitorias. So over a period of time, the native plant people have been bringing in upland plants that'll take the dry habitat. There's Simpson stopper that we had to do a lot of trimming back and cleaning up. And in the very front, when they planted it near the Yarborough Entry Educational Facility, they added the firebush, but they had the zinnias behind it. And then they added the zinnias with the Walters viburnum behind it, and Walters viburnum can take over. So what we've been doing is removing some of the Walters viburnum and potting them up. We will take young saplings of the firebush and we trim those out. And of course, the hummingbirds do come through there and the butterflies. And what we have today is a much healthier garden than we did before. And as an experiment, by the back porch where the picnic tables are located and the offices are located, I added 2 native coffees, Psychotria nervosa. And they're both doing good because they're right at the drip line or where the moisture would be closest and more protected to the house.
It's wonderful. Definitely a success story for native plants. Oh, there's starflower. This is a Geneva wilderness area.
Wilderness.
We've been around, haven't we? Oh, that's Ed Yarborough. That's your team. Candace, Marion. I don't know who these 2 people are. There's Jim, Nita, Tom, Barbara, and Candace.
We're seeing a pattern here, aren't we?
Yes, the reliables, the founding members leading the way. There's a bobcat.
Oh, that was precious.
That was Orlando Wetlands Park.
Yeah.
When we had the representatives came out, there was Emily Bonilla. Who was the other one?
Eric Rawlings.
Yeah. But I was more interested in the bobcat, I have to say.
First in the wild. It was exciting.
Here we have our native orchid. This is the green fly orchid, I believe.
Yes.
Very dainty little plant. It's a very close-up picture of it. It's rather small in person. And here's a beautiful scenic picture. Well done, Christine. You captured the essence of Orlando Wetlands Park. the iconic palm trees that are slowly declining with all that fresh water right by their toes. Savage Christmas Creek Preserve. This is I bet this was with Bette Jackson because it's a green care program.
Yep.
There you guys are.
There she is.
Yeah, so there's Beth and her husband George, Tom, Nita,
Rory,
and Christine.
And Jim at the back there.
Oh, and Jim Hooper, yes, with his cowboy hat. That's a beautiful picture. I use this quite a bit in some of our videos as the introduction. That's Toothache. Oh, there's a corn snake or a rat snake.
Yep.
Your pitcher plants of Toothache, which we all know. I think we're coming up on your hand fern, Christine.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And it's got these really interesting spore-bearing appendages. And for our viewers, if you're seeing all the tape marking, it's there to say, don't mess with this tree because this rare fern is growing on it. Or maybe it's that they've counted this as part of the population size within Toothache. It was really fun to see. And there you guys are at last year's Earth Day. And we're coming up to the end. There you are again. That's a fun team. I like that.
Yep.
You guys seem to enjoy each other's company and, feel that it's worthwhile to come out and volunteer and serve the public.
I was really sad we couldn't do it this year.
Yes.
And there we are in 2020 at the expo, right before COVID hit.
Yeah, the last thing we did practically.
And in January, we went to Smyrna Dunes Park, and that's a picture of the boardwalk. That was a nice little walk. There's a gopher tortoise as well. So those are all the pictures. I wanted to kind of show our viewers the Cox Conservation video. And for those of you who don't know, back in 2018, this was really almost a game changer for our chapter. We didn't have a lot of money to work with. The Treasury was, keeping things together, but there was not a lot of leeway. There was not money to experiment with. Let's try this. Oh, we don't have money for that. But I became president, I think in June, and then maybe in July or sometime very soon, Christine emailed me and said, Candace Roby found this through the internet, and we feel that we should nominate Nida for the Cox Conservation Grant Award. And I said, go for it. Write something up and send it in. Lo and behold, we didn't think twice about it, but she won.
Yay!
I do.
That was
nominated.
Yeah, she was nominated, and I guess the panelists that were part of the regional selection team selected her, and she won.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
Christine wrote it up, I believe.
She did.
Yeah, I wrote it up, and then we tried to get everybody we knew to vote for Nita.
Yes, we did. We had a campaign for the nationwide vote for Nita because at that point, I think it was $50,000 that was at stake, and we wanted to award it to Florida Native Plant Society State. So the local award was $10,000, and she won it. And back then, we were not even, part of the charity stuff. And we're like, oh, God, we got to scramble. Who do we cut the check to? But Florida Native Plant Society came to the rescue and said, "We got this. We'll help you." And they were very appreciative, and I was super appreciative because I was just finding my stride within Cuplet Fern, and it was a great boost to our chapter. I'm going to play this video right now so that our viewers can see what Cox Conservation put together for Nida.
It's just embarrassing,
No, congratulations again.
Being, with dirt under my fingernails and hands-on in my own yard, that's where I've gained my most experience about how the plants grow. And then I can share that experience with the public to give them an appreciation for what our native plants do as the base for all life. They photosynthesize and make energy, and then everything feeds on up the ladder from that. My name is Neta Villalobos-Bell, and I volunteer with the Florida Native Plant Society. My role there is actually to encourage people to use native plants in their landscape, doing presentations for different groups. One of my favorites is to go to gifted kindergarten school. I go there every year. The kids get so excited. I've done programs on hikes with like the Boy Scouts, and that really is very satisfying. I also volunteer with the Seminole Audubon Society. I'm a Florida certified master naturalist with the University of Florida, which all have the same goal, which is protecting our environment. A vote for me and the Native Plant Society, it will help us increase our outreach with youth, is actually a vote for a connection between our native plants, our native wildlife, and people, because we're all connected.
Fun, right?
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, congratulations again, Nida. That was something that Cuplet Fern will never forget, and we are ultimately so appreciative because that really financially gave us a little bit of a boost. We apportioned that into outreach, and we do so much outreach now, and that's basically an offshoot of the little push that you helped us give. So thank you. And then I wanted to actually pull up a video. So this was back last year, so in 2019, and this was another watershed moment in our in our Cuplet Fern family. So Barbara's late husband is Dr. Henry Whittier, who happens to be the past UCF Arboretum director, and the current Arboretum director, his name is Dr. Patrick Dolan, and we went to an event that was going to unveil what is now Whittier's Walk. So it's a demonstration walk with using native plants, different applications, different projects that the Arboretum does. But this was the very first inception outdoor / gala type event. And I'm going to play a short video here that kind of commemorates that event that Barbara and her family treasure in their memories.
You ever envisioned that the Arboretum director would be over the whole thing, like the campus landscape, but he really planted the seeds, and we wouldn't have this program if it weren't for him. Unfortunately, a lot of what he built is gone. I see those lovely Easter lily vine over there, which is a remnant of something he planted. But a lot of it's gone because of the hurricanes and whatnot. But there's a remnant back here. There's a boardwalk and trails through these woods behind me. And one of our former students, Don Spence, came up with the idea of dedicating that area to him. So I would like to ask his wife, Barbara, to come up, and we're going to unveil a sign. This is going to be a sign. We're eventually going to make a real sign that's going to be right back here at the entrance to the trail. So Barbara, we're just thrilled to be able to do this. Don Spence's, I can't take credit for these ideas. Whittier's Walk. When you get a chance, come up and read this. There are still some plants back here. We have a little bit of time tonight. Jen's going to talk about the opportunity to maybe go out and see some of these things. But we're really, really glad that we were able to do this dedication, Frank. Thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate it.
So that was really another huge watershed moment for the Cuplet Fern team. I know that I'm very keen on making sure that the team members stand and have a moment in their, moment in the sun per se. But it's always cool to see when a family member is also honored and cherished in memories for years to come. I have this video from the Native Plant Month. That was huge. So in 2019, oh man, so I gotta preface this. I worked on this for a year and a half. So I wanted to do this in 2018. Nobody paid attention to me. I got all the wrong leads. So people were referring me to people that didn't have the power to make this happen. And I don't know how, but I finally got in touch with the right person. And they said, this is the person you need to talk to at the Board of County Commissioners, and he will be able to help you. And so I finally got this together. It was they actually checked out our organization through Seminole IFAS. So before giving us a call, they actually called Seminole IFAS to check and see if we were authentic or legitimate. So they said, is this a charitable organization? So Seminole IFAS said yes. Do they meet out at your location? They said yes. Are they native plant focused? They said yes. So they did a little bit of homework before approaching us and said, we would love to have you and we would love to support this as part of October Native Plant Month. Now, I wanted this to fall in October, but the way their county commission meetings happened, the next available slot was the first week or the beginning of November. So even though we were celebrating October Native Plant Month, the proclamation was read in November. So let's play this quick video.
You just give your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Mark Catelli. I'm the president of Cuplet Fern chapter of the Florida Native Plant Society. We serve Seminole County. Thank you so much, esteemed commissioners, chairman. I appreciate your time and support. Our nonprofit comprises over 4,000 members statewide. The mission of the Florida Native Plant Society, as Commissioner Constantine mentioned, is the preservation, conservation, and restoration of Florida native plants and native plant communities. The Society fulfills this mission through land management that enhances habitat suitability for native plants, education, public policies that protect our native flora, especially rare species, research on native plant species, encouragement of local landscaping practices, and policies that preserve Florida native plants across our county. We are particularly thankful to Commissioner Brenda Carey for her support and organizing the proclamation. This is a first for Seminole County. Florida is home to over 3,000 native species, and we rank 7th countrywide in our plant diversity. Cuplet Fern was named after the incredibly rare plant that is only found in 2 counties here in Florida, one being Seminole County and the other one being Brevard. Our chapter has been serving our community exclusively since 2010. We organize several outreach events throughout the year that not only include plant sales, but also seed swaps, plant propagation workshops, guided experiences of conservation areas, and private tours of commercial nurseries and herbariums. Our chapter is highly active and vested in gardening and lawn care, as well as ecotourism dollars. We are in particular looking forward to working towards a native plant ordinance that will encourage the use of Florida native plants across our county. Native plants can provide a strong water conservation message, along with lower fertilizer needs, that save residents money. More importantly, by creating a demand for native plants, Cuplet Fern envisions driving local nurseries to grow and promote unusual and uncommon interesting plants in their landscapes. Just last month, Cuplet Fern, in collaboration with the Seminole Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences in Sanford, unveiled a new Florida plant idea area within the Florida-friendly landscape demonstration garden. The Idea Garden promotes uncommon native plants that are not only beautiful, but also provide color, textural contrast, as well as food for our pollinators such as butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds. Thank you so much again for your support and consideration for our health and sustainability of our environment. It is a cause all of us can get behind. We look forward to working towards a bigger and brighter future for our county, and happy October Florida Native Plant Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That was huge for the county itself. And here is the Seminole IFAS Native Plant Idea Garden. We worked all morning, but we were done by noon. There were a lot of plants. Partridge pea, that's palafox, hypericum. And we definitely worked as a team. There's Susan. Susan actually brought her husband out too.
True.
And there's Chris. It turned out quite well. That was fun. So the story behind that is we were scheduled once before or twice before, and there was this hurricane that just would not go away, and it had slowed down so much that we had to reschedule it. So we had scheduled it sometime in, I don't even remember, but we had to reschedule it 3 weeks later because the hurricane was so slow, and Seminole IFAS had turned into an emergency management or emergency response unit. So they had shut down any sort of public activity. So the team that was originally planning to come, I know Christine was planning to come the first time it was scheduled, but then we had to reschedule it, and some of the people that were planning to come couldn't make it anymore. So that was an interesting, tidbit behind that. Anyways, guys, I believe Nida, you had something to add. What were some of the things that you wanted to share with us as far as the chapter and how far and how many years and the strong points and the memorable ones?
I just wanted to kind of wrap up my feelings and experience with the chapter. And that is that I'm really proud of all of the accomplishments that the chapter has and their ongoing commitments with certain things in particular, like supporting our youth through scholarships for eco camps and personal enrichment. We've had so many different kind of presentations, from animals to habitats and ecological systems, and also that we have a lot of collaborations with other local organizations, which you, Mark, have really forged many, many more with than we did before. And also our outreach, which is we've done like the Kids House in Sanford. We've done Expo, which is really, really good. And just all those different outreach. There were a lot of those that you saw on the photos. And Christine brought up the one I always have so much fun at the holiday potluck. It's just like we have games and we have music, we have fun, food, camaraderie, and you see people sometimes that you don't always see at the meetings, but that kind of culminates the whole year getting together. I just have so much fun there. So I'm really proud to be part of this organization and support you all fully. Oh, there we go. There's the party.
Always enjoy the holiday potluck. We have fun. We have quizzes and door prizes and lots of good food.
Yeah. And if this continues, if COVID continues and we're not okay to meet in person still in December, we will do an online type of social. So
Okay.
that's in the works. Yeah, always fun. Look at the food, you guys. The food is the main attraction.
Hungry.
I thought it was your sweater, Mark. I thought that's what everybody came to see.
Oh, the ugly sweater?
The ugly sweater.
Everybody should wear the ugly sweater. That's a nice ugly sweater, if I ever saw one. Barbara, do you want to revisit Ed Yarborough?
I'm sorry.
Did you want to revisit Ed Yarborough?
If you could.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here's all your pictures from there.
I think the whole idea of of course, our resident tortoises. And Jim every now and then would say, and remind me, Barbara, there's a rattlesnake out there. And I'll say, okay, I'll be careful. I'll be careful. It's its habitat. Hercules Club.
Yeah, that's the Toothache Tree. And they have a bat box now.
They do. They do. The intern that I was working with, I mean, that was a wonderful partnership because she was collecting seed material, Cherokee coral bean. We were trimming, we were cleaning the area, collecting blue curls for propagation later. A lot of times when we will get people coming in, we encourage them to take a few seeds to see if they may germinate in their own backyard. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful place to just walk.
It really is.
An educational facility, a good field trip site, very simple. And up until this year, we were there about every 2 months as far as maintenance. But right now it is just Marion and myself. And we'll go there about every 4 months, something like that. We'll be going there in another month and a half to check it out.
Great. Great. Yeah, there's our intern.
Yes, that was good.
She had fun. Thank you so much for taking her under your wings.
My pleasure.
So folks, that actually brings us to the end of our memory media scrapbook. Is there any parting words that you would like to add at this point? Susan, go ahead. I'd like you to say a few words so people can remember this moment in time.
The only thing I want to say is basically I'm looking forward to the future. It looks like, we're kind of growing and changing even with this virus. You've worked on, all of a sudden we've got this big social media presence. And so I see a lot of positive things happening with the organization, and looking forward to the future.
Nita, what about you? Any parting words?
Yeah, I think it's energized and energizing organization for anybody to join. So
Yeah.
welcome everybody.
Yeah, a very fulfilling experience, especially for me. Barbara, what about you?
I'd like to promote the public to reach out more to the environment, educational, become involved with trying to preserve our lands, come out to our field trips and to our programs once we're back in the hopper.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to see us, because the foundation for all we do is to serve the community. And Christine?
Well, I think we could talk for another 2 hours of all the places we've been, and the meetings we've had, and the fun that we've had. I've really enjoyed being a member, and I'd like to congratulate Mark on leading us to be Chapter of the Year this year in the Native Plant Society.
Congratulations.
It was a long time coming. And I guess I always like to put the team or the organization or the chapter in this instance forward, because in a way you're serving an entity, or you want to see that person or entity have its moment in the sun. So it's a long time coming. We do a lot of good work, and we're just so grateful and honored to be recognized.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps things up. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an hour and a half of memories and fun and just good times, just going down memory lane. So I want to thank all of you for joining us, and especially our founding members, Susan, Nita, Barbara, and Christine. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye for now.
Thank you.